Am I the jerk for asking why my partner took my phone charger? Hi, this is my first post, so new account. I am a 22-year-old female, and my girlfriend, let's call her M, a 21-year-old female, have had a somewhat extreme argument over a vape charger today. Getting ready for bed, I went to my side of the bed to see there was no plug in the extension. My iPhone wire was on the floor next to the bed without a plug. I asked where the charger was and she responded, "I took it to work and have left it there." Naturally, this is not a big deal, so I just asked why she took the plug when she could have just taken the wire. She then responded that she could not use a wire without a plug. She works in a pretty new building built within the last 10 years or so I assumed there would be somewhere to plug in her wire without needing to take my plug. There are not many staff where she works, so I know she probably would not be able to ask to borrow someone else. I asked why she did not plug it into one of the computers in the office or on the front desk. She said that they do not have USB-C plugs in them, to which I responded, "Oh, that's weird." She then got extremely agitated about it, shouting at me, saying that it wasn't weird. My computer at work, in our home office, and all of the laptops in our house have USB-C ports, and I thought it was weird her work did not have any. She then sent me into our home office to prove they had them, so I went and took photos of them all to show that they did. When I came back into the room to show her that they did in fact have the ports, she became extremely annoyed, screaming at me that she's telling me her work computers don't. Again, I said it did not matter, and it was not a big deal, but that I just thought it was weird. She then became extremely irate, screaming at me that I am not a computer whiz and that I do not know a thing about computers, and that she is telling me her work one does not have one. I again stated that I was not calling her a liar, and again I just thought it was weird. She then threatened to break up with me and stated that I was weird for thinking I know everything when I know nothing. She then threatened to break up with me if I tried to talk to her. Again, I do not really mind about the charger, nor is it any of my business if the company she works for has them. I just thought, oh, that's weird. I stopped responding as whenever I tried to talk, she would scream over me, and I could notice that our dog was becoming on edge about the shouting. He does not like loud noises. So I was just wondering, am I the unintended antagonist for saying it was weird that my girlfriend did not have a USB-C on her work computer? I think you are not in the wrong here, but your girlfriend is taking your things, leaving them in places that are not accessible to you, and fighting with you when you ask about it. This behavior will not improve. Maybe next time she threatens to break up with you, take her up on that offer. If this is not how you want your life to be, roll with it. Am I the jerk for telling my sister she can't move her clothes into my wardrobe? I am about to go into university, and I will be living with my sister in an apartment. I have 2 older sisters, and one of them, I will call her Sam, moved out. Sam was the one who originally found the apartment and was living there with 2 other roommates. My other sister, let's call her Ally, moved in with her a few years ago, and they shared a room with 2 wardrobes. Ally had a smaller wardrobe which she broke, so she bought another one. However, it is of poor quality and is more of a storage unit than a unit for clothes, and it is falling apart. Sam and her partner had even said to her that it was not good and that she should buy one to replace the one that came with the place, but Ally did not care. Sam owned the bigger wardrobe, which is of good quality and came with the apartment. Sam and I had an agreement before she moved out that I would take her wardrobe and space, so the only readjustment would be for me when moving. But now that Sam has moved out, Ally has decided to move all her stuff into Sam's old closet without my knowledge, so in turn, I would take her subpar storage unit. Unfortunately, I had to find out this information through Sam, who found out when visiting Ally that she threw all of Sam's clothes into a black bag and put her own clothes in Sam's closet, which is now supposed to be mine. Of course, Sam was not pleased with this, but this selfish behavior is not new for Ally, so Sam did not start an argument and relayed the message to me. My mom was supposed to visit Ally to help make space for me when I am moving up this week, but Ally refused. We had called her, and Ally said that she had already arranged the room and the wardrobe. My mom asked which closet, and she said, "Sam's closet." I responded, "That's my closet, Sam gave it to me." She replied, "Sam's not living here anymore." I explained that we established this before she moved or even had a place, and I am not dealing with your lousy closet. Since she is older and in my culture respecting your elders is highly regarded, she said, "I am older. Respect your elders. What about respecting me?" She then said that I need to be working on my end-of-school exams, which will determine what college I go to. These exams took place 2 months ago. Ally was being so dismissive, saying, "Mother, can we talk later? I'm tired," because my mom had originally wanted to discuss visiting her and she used my phone to call. How is she going to preach about respect when she cannot even respect the person she is going to be sharing a room with? Sam and I had an agreement, and now she is trying to get in between it. This girl says she is studying law, and she cannot even respect an agreement that does not involve her. I was not having that, so I simply said she either gives me the closet or she buys me a new one. Simple as that. Or I will just throw her clothes into a black bag just like she did to Sam. Nothing you have done here makes me think you are the jerk. This respect your elders excuse is just outdated nonsense. She should have asked Sam for the wardrobe before any arrangements were made. It's 2024. She needs to learn that stealing isn't a solution for her lack of responsibility. Aita for putting a time limit on my in-laws' stay. My husband and I have one son who is 11 years old. We have been married for 13 years and moved away from our families about 5.5 years ago from Michigan to coastal Georgia. Since then, my family, including my mother, brother, sister, and niece, have visited us a few times and stayed for 3 or 4 nights at a time. My mother-in-law has visited and stayed for 1 or 2 weeks, which is fine. We have had a few other friends stay for varying times, which was also fine as this was a brand new house with 3 bedrooms, a living room area, and a full bathroom all upstairs. It was convenient for guests as there was enough room for 5 guests up there, even with my son staying in his room. We recently moved close to Disney World, about 1.5 years ago, into a fixer-upper house with 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. We have slowly renovated, but our 4th bedroom is used for storage and is full of tools, and the master bathroom shower is not usable. We all use the guest bathroom, so essentially it is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house right now. My mom and sister, or sometimes just my sister and niece, have stayed with us a few times and stayed for 3 or 4 nights. Once all 3 stayed, so my son stayed on an air mattress in our room, but it was only for a couple of nights, so it was not too bad. His mom has stayed for weeks at a time. My brother has not visited us here, so we have only had at most 3 guests at once. Now his mother, sister, brother-in-law, and 2 sons, 12 and 14 years old, want to stay with us for a week over Christmas, and then his mom will stay an additional 3 weeks after that. They will all drive down from Michigan. I told him a week was too long, and we need a limit of 3 or 4 nights for all 5 of them at once. 3 adult guests and 2 children all sharing 2 bathrooms with the 3 of us is a lot. Not to mention only having 1 living area here, and his sister and kids are loud and not at all well behaved. He argued that they have a long drive and accused me of treating his family differently. He's actually pretty mad at me because he is used to getting his way. I am pretty easygoing and usually just go with the flow. However, I really do not want to spend my time off being miserable with a house full of poorly mannered guests. We typically do not have overnight guests over the holidays. So am I the antagonist here? Should I just endure it for a week? You are not responsible for this. It's perfectly reasonable to have a limit on how long guests can stay, especially if it affects your comfort. If they want to stay longer, they can get a hotel room. It's not fair to keep kicking your son out of his room either. There should be an agreed-upon limit for their stay, and they should contribute to groceries and chores if they're staying for an extended period. Am I the jerk for not letting my sibling hold my newborn? For some context, my husband Peter, who is a 33-year-old male, and I, a 31-year-old female, have been married for 5 years. He is from Ukraine while I am Canadian, but we both currently live in Latvia. We have 2 children together, Buck, who is a 4-year-old male, and our newborn daughter Lena, who is a 3-week-old female. Since I have given birth to Lena, I have had severe postpartum depression. When I had Buck, it was the same, but I thought it would get easier since this is my 2nd birth. A few days ago, my family showed up on my doorstep. There were my 3 brothers, my mother, my father, and my aunt. I was very surprised since I live in Latvia and they live all the way in Canada. I invited them in and asked why they were here. They told me that they planned this trip as soon as they found out what day my due date was. They said that they knew how bad the last pregnancy was. It was a high-risk C-section. So they wanted to visit and help me to settle in with my new baby. I asked to talk to my mother in another room. I told her how I was going through pretty bad postpartum depression, and I did not know if I was ready for people over. She apologized for just showing up and told me that she also thought that my postpartum would not be as bad this time. I found out that their trip was only 2 nights long. I thought that I could do it, so I told her that everything was fine. We went back into the room with the rest of my family. I explained that I was having very bad postpartum depression. I said that I would try my best to let them be with the baby, but I could not make any promises. Soon Peter got home from work with Buck. Lena started crying, so I went to the nursery to bring her downstairs with me. People instantly were all over me and Lena, trying to get a look at her. I was very overwhelmed, but Peter helped keep everyone a few feet away from me. Everyone wanted to hold her, but I told them that after dinner, I might let them. I made up a lie saying that Lena does not really like new people. We ate takeout for dinner, and I found out that my family was going to a hotel to sleep. The rest of the night went smoothly, along with most of the next day. I even let my mother and aunt hold Lena. Things started to get bad when my youngest brother asked to hold her, but I told him that I did not feel comfortable with that. He then started to get angry, calling me overprotective and rude. He said that he just wanted to hold his first niece. My 2 other brothers have children too, but they only have boys. I told him that saying that would not make me any more comfortable, and if he wanted to hold her, then he would either have to wait until I was ready or until the next time that they visited. The room got tense as my brother and I stared at each other. He ended up leaving with most of my family. Only my mother and aunt stayed behind. This all happened 2 days ago. Everybody left my house yesterday. Now my family is split. One side says that I should not have been so harsh, while the other agrees with me. So, am I the antagonist? It's understandable to feel overwhelmed when a large group shows up unexpectedly, especially right after giving birth. It's also a lot for someone who has just given birth, and I absolutely understand you feeling overwhelmed. Despite good intentions, A group surprise visit from out of the country doesn't seem like a very good idea. And a 2-day stay is not really helping with postpartum. It's rather adding stress, forcing parents to host and stray from routines. Am I the jerk for not consenting to my partner sharing some information with their family? My husband, who is 37 years old, and I, who am 35 years old, used to have a good relationship with his family up until 3 to 4 years ago when some conflict commenced and has not been resolved to date. It has only gotten worse. I will not go into detail about the conflict as the post is not about that. For context, I am now largely estranged from my mother-in-law and siblings-in-law. I am on good terms with my father-in-law and other relatives. My father-in-law and mother-in-law are divorced. My husband's relationship with his mother and siblings is also impacted. It is a sore topic overall, particularly as my husband is not supportive of me in the underlying issues. We have just about stuck together as we are committed and in love. We have in the last 1 to 2 years experienced infertility issues. We have had several failed rounds of IVF, and lately some diagnoses requiring treatment for each of us. I have had surgery under general anesthesia, and my husband is having a minor, 30-minute outpatient procedure under local anesthesia, which he will walk home from right after. We also had a soul-destroying delayed miscarriage a couple of months ago, and I had another surgery to remove the fetus. His family does not know anything about this journey of ours. I feel very sensitive and private about the topic, and I just do not feel I can share this with people who do not even speak to me anymore, whom I have not seen in months or years. My husband, however, is keen to share with his family as he feels he is emotionally distanced from his family without being able to speak to them about this. I have not stopped him from speaking about it to friends, colleagues, and we do share with our close friends. Given all the bad blood between his family and myself, I just cannot bear to think of sharing this with them. I do not even trust some of them to wish us well. I think some of them would be pleased if we split up. Some of them also have very rude opinions, and I just do not feel safe sharing certain types of information with them. My husband says the infertility is about his personal health and experience too, and therefore this should not be a private couple matter. Am I the antagonist for having this preference? Note, I have not told most of my family either. My mother knows though, but I only told her recently. I was having the surgery in her city coincidentally, which we traveled thousands of miles for and stayed with her. It was therefore no longer possible to keep her in the dark. She also has a very good relationship with my husband. It seems like the relationship is already fragile, and adding a child now would only add more stress, especially with his family's conflict toward you. It's concerning that he wants to stay in good graces with people who have harmed you, which doesn't bode well for your future together. Before bringing a child into this situation, it would be wise to seek counseling to work through these issues. Also, he's not free to share your personal information, including infertility issues, without your consent. Am I the jerk for inspiring the bridal party to eat at a fast food place? I, a 26-year-old man, apologize for any mistakes. English is not my first language. This Saturday, we were invited to our friend's wedding and were part of the bridal party. I was a groomsman, and my girlfriend Allie was a bridesmaid. We had breakfast, and I drove Allie to her preparations before going to join the groom. We picked up the bride around 11 with all the ceremonies. Then, there was the first photo shoot. The wedding was between 1 and 2, followed by park and beach photo shoots. The normal guests had time to have lunch, but we did not. The civil ceremony was between 4 and 5, followed by the last photo shoot with almost 200 guests. There was a cocktail reception for an hour where everyone got one profiterole and a glass of champagne, with half a grape. This was an expensive hotel, and they could not even provide a whole grape. Dinner started at 7 and it was a joke. We were served a course every hour. The salad consisted of 2 slices of tomato, whipped cheese balls on top, 2 crescents of red onion, 3 cucumber matchsticks, and 2 small cheese balls with some sort of nuts. The soup was exactly 9 spoonfuls of cucumber soup, maybe 10 if you scrape the sides. The main course was a palm-sized piece of steak. It was delicious. With baby corn, it was bad, and whipped bell peppers, inedible. The cheese board had 5 kinds of cured meats and 4 kinds of cheeses, with 3 pieces of each. Our table had 12 people. We couldn't leave before midnight because it would be rude, and the cameramen were booked until then. During the whole dinner, we were expected to perform our duties and participate in everything, including games and dances. During one of our many breaks for fresh air, I noticed an open donor place and made a joke about going there if we had money. Then, Ali did the most amazing thing. She took off her shoe and pulled out a $50 bill from under the sole. I have never loved her more. We sneaked away and ate quickly so we wouldn't be missed. However, we didn't think we would smell like garlic and meat. After looking at us for a while, one of the bridesmaids asked where we got the food, and we answered honestly. The entire table slowly left to get food. Our entire table was empty when it was time for the cake cutting. Even the best man and maid of honor were missing. We lied, saying that one of the girls had stomach problems. While Ali was calming down the bride, I ran to call the wedding party. The bride was really mad because the cake cutting was postponed for 15 minutes, but everything else seemed normal. We stayed until 1 and then went to our hotel. We didn't hear anything on Sunday, but yesterday, Ali received a call from the bride, and she was angry. She said that we had insulted her wedding and made people leave on purpose to humiliate her, calling Ali a traitor and a backstabber. Ali was very sad, so I tried talking with the groom, but he said to wait and that it wasn't yet the time to apologize. I don't think we did anything on purpose. I did hate the wedding, but I didn't say it to anyone and we just wanted to eat. But Ali is really sad and feels guilty. Are we the assholes? Absolutely, you are not responsible for this. It's only fair that people get to eat what they need to, especially if they are willing to pay for their portion. If everyone else had the sense to go out slowly, it wouldn't have been a problem. The 15-minute delay for cutting the cake is hardly a make or break part of the day, and the bride sounds really unreasonable for overreacting. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.